This is the neuron. This is the dendrite that receives messages from other cells. This is the soma or the cell body, which is the cell's life support center. The nucleus of a neuron is an oval shaped, membrane bound structure found in the soma or the body of the neuron. It contains the nucleolus and chromosomes necessary for the coded production of proteins within the cell. This part is the axon that passes messages away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles, or glands. This is the myelin sheath that covers the axon of some neurons and helps speed neural impulses. This is a Schwann cell that is the main glial cell of the peripheral nervous system, which wraps around the axons of motor and sensory neurons to form the myelin sheath. The node of Ranvier is located in the periodic gap between the insulating myelin sheath on the axon of certain neurons that serves to facilitate the rapid conduction of nerve impulses. These are the terminal branches of axon which form the junctions with other cells. The terminal buttons are the circular ends of the terminal branches of the axon. The neural impulse is the action potential or the electrical signal traveling down the axon to the terminal branches of the axon and the terminal buttons or the point of the synapse. First, the electrical impulses or action potentials travel down a neuron's axon until reaching a tiny junction known as a synapse. When an action potential reaches an axon terminal or the axonal synaptic bulb, it stimulates the release of neurotransmitter molecules. The neurotransmitter molecules are these dots. These neurotransmitters are stored in sac-like structures in neurons called synaptic vesicles before releasing them into the synapse in response to electrical signaling within the cell. These molecules cross the synaptic gap, which is this gap between the axon terminal and the dendrite in this process, and bind to the receptor sites on the receiving neuron. This allows ions to enter the receiving neuron and excite or inhibit a new action potential. This receiving neuron is then the photosynaptic dendrite. When the neuron fires, the first section of the axon opens its gate and the positively charged sodium ions flood through the cell membrane. This depolarizes the axon section, causing another axon channel to open and then another. The time or period when the presynaptic cell is done sending the neurotransmitters to the postsynaptic cell is called the refractory period, which is when the neuron is inactive after firing. After some time, the presynaptic cell gains more action potentials. Then, the sending neuron normally goes through a process called reuptake, where it reabsorbs excess neurotransmitter molecules back. Now, the neurons can and will go through this whole process again and again.